Hey guys, it's Lee and you're watching Hang With Lee TV, and today I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about lifestyle creep. Now, if you've never heard of lifestyle creep, well, I'm going to tell you what lifestyle creep is, and then I'm also going to tell you some ways that you can avoid lifestyle creep taking over your life as well. Now, if you're new here, this channel is sort of a lifestyle channel where I basically talk about all things life related. I also do reviews and I give advice on personal finance primarily. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, consider subscribing. Okay, so lifestyle creep, right? It's actually a topic that is something that I've heard about years ago. So it sounds like a really interesting situation, right? And so I found myself wondering what it was. And so I thought that maybe, some people might actually be finding themselves in that situation right now. I thought it might be a good time to make a video on that topic. Now, if you don't know what lifestyle creep is, let me just kind of go over that with you really quick. I'm going to actually read the definition from Investopedia, just so you have like a straight up definition. Based on Investopedia, this is the definition. Lifestyle creep occurs when an individual's standard of living improves as their discretionary income rises and former luxuries become new necessities. The hallmark of lifestyle creep is a change in thinking and behavior that sees spending on non-essential items as a right rather than a choice. So I know that probably sounds a little bit familiar for some of us, right? So especially those of us who have, gotten promotions or maybe got a new job and things like that, and we found ourselves making more money than we made before, then we might find ourselves in some situation where lifestyle creep can actually start to rear its ugly head, right? And so you might not have actually known what the name of it was at the time, but now you're probably gonna be like, yeah, it happened to me. So basically, now that you know what it is, I'm going to talk to you about some ways that you can avoid lifestyle creep. So one of the first things that you can do to actually avoid lifestyle creep is to reward yourself. Now, I know that might sound a little bit backwards, right? But no, what I mean is you want to reward yourself within reason, right? Now, a lot of times when we find ourselves in a situation is like, let's say you got a promotion, maybe you're making $20,000 more per year, which is actually a lot for just about anybody. But let's say you're making a lot more money and you feel like you've arrived, your self-esteem is probably the highest it's ever been, you're feeling really good about yourself, and you're thinking about just making some purchase, right? You might be like, oh my God, I'm making good money now. You see a Tesla go by, you're like, I want a Tesla now, and then you go out and buy one. Now, that might not actually be the best decision for you, right? Because it's not something that your future self will, be happy about, right? So again, make that small purchase that rewards yourself. So maybe it's an Apple Watch or an iPad or, a nice piece of jewelry, some nice shoes, something that you've been thinking about buying, but you were too afraid to, or you felt like you weren't ready to purchase it. Just something to actually reward yourself to make you feel good about the fact that you are making more money, you did get that promotion, you did get that new job, or whatever the situation is. Now, the next thing you need to do is actually you need to make sure that you set and track your financial goals. Think about what those financial goals have been. Think about what you want them to look like. Do you want to invest more? Do you want to pay down debt? You need to think about what you want for your future. That's going to be a really important key, because if you don't have that roadmap, then you're just going to go any and everywhere and you're not going to have any sort of direction. So have that sort of goal in mind so that you can actually follow it, and again, be happy later that you made those decisions along the way. Now, part of tracking those financial goals is actually budgeting as well. And so you really need to make sure that you reevaluate your budget as well, because now you're making more money. So you need to think about what you were making before, what you're making now. Where is that money that's extra gonna go? Where is it gonna go? Are you gonna pay down debt? Are you gonna invest? What's happening with the money? You need to figure that out, and having your budget is gonna be a great way to actually do that. If you don't know how to budget, I actually have a video on how to budget, so I'll leave it up here and also in the description below for you to check that out after this video, so you know a good way to actually attack your budget. The next thing you need to be thinking about is actually maxing out your retirement funds, right? So if you have 401k with your organization, make sure that you're at least at that match amount, right? So that you're taking advantage of that free money that company is going to be throwing at you. So match that, right? And then you need to reevaluate and think about, what do you have left over, and can you push that a little bit more, right? Push it just a little bit more. I promise you won't feel it too much, okay? Push it a little bit more, and then again, your future self will be a lot happier that you chose to do that. The next thing you need to be thinking about is investing some of that extra income, right? So, maybe you need to invest in stocks or mutual funds or CDs, or maybe you've had your eye on some cryptocurrency. I don't know, maybe, right? So just think about some other ways you might want to invest your money so that you can, again, put that money to work so that it can work for you later, and you can benefit more from that money later through that compound interest and all those good things that we find when we invest our money. Now, one of the biggest pieces here that I want to really highlight to you is that during this time, right, when this lifestyle creep starts to rear its ugly head, you're going to have like a really strong urge to, you know, make some kind of dramatic life change, a large purchase, you know, buying a brand new car, buying a condo, right? Buying some really expensive jewelry that you would have never purchased before, you know, doing things like that, you know, investing in somebody's something or other, I don't know, like think about those situations, right? So what you need to do is when this situation happens, when all these stars align and you're making more money and things are looking great, you need to really make sure that you're taking really careful look at all the decisions that you're making. Don't do anything that's hasty. Everything that you do, you make sure it's planned out ahead of time, it makes sense to you, and that your future self will be happy that you made that decision. So those are some of the sort of framework that you need to be working within so that you're not making mistakes. It's very easy to think about the fact that you're making more money, you look at your car, you know, it's not even the color you wanted anyway, the seats aren't really as comfortable as that car you sat in the other day, and so now you're thinking about buying a new one, and everywhere you go you see that Tesla drive by that you've been thinking about, right? But this is just all part of that lifestyle creep mentality, right? Now you start to look for those extra things that you didn't have before that you feel like you can afford now, and maybe you can, but is it the best decision for you to do, you know, that right now in your life? It could also be a situation where, you know, you like your apartment, it's okay, your lease is coming up, you know, you've always, you know, it's a good neighborhood, you know, but it doesn't compare to that luxury apartment across town, right? Like, it doesn't compare. You know, they got those granite countertops and that stainless steel, you know, appliance and stuff in there, you know, it's looking really good. I don't know, but again, you need to think about, is this something you need to be doing? Because essentially what's going to happen is if you make these decisions now without thinking about it, what's going to happen is that you're going to find yourself in a situation where that new decision that you're making is going to be eating up that income, and it's not going to be good for you long term. Okay, so the next thing you need to be wary of is just people around you, right? So depending on, you know, what your situation is, you could find yourself around people that have, you know, a lot more peer pressure than you're used to, right? So they might actually be pressuring you to make those larger purchases, to buy those newer clothes, to buy this jewelry, to go on these trips, to spend your money, to basically let lifestyle creep take over your life, right? Okay, so make sure that you're being very mindful of that and be very strict, and make sure you stay on track when it comes down to those financial goals and your budget and things like that. Don't let stuff like that sidetrack you. If you made it to this point of the video, what I want to hear from you is I want to hear what were some things that maybe you did in the past, some mistakes that maybe you made when it came down to lifestyle creep taking over your life. And also, if you have some other ideas to avoid lifestyle creep, go ahead and leave those comments in the description below for me. I'm sure it's going to be helpful for everybody watching this video. If you found value in this video, make sure you hit the like button for me. And also, if you haven't already, I'm not sure why you wouldn't have, but if you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button as well for more videos just like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.